Ripple's XRP and Stellar's XLM holders, pay attention. Stellar just ripped 288% over the past year, shocking the market with whispers of another breakout this September. XRP, meanwhile, coils near $2.84, patience stretched, charts hinting at violent compression. And with ETF decisions looming in October, the next few weeks could crown the winner of this cycle's remittance war. Will it be Stellar riding the Whisk upgrade and GDP data flows, or XRP detonating from its multi-year consolidation? Stellar might extend gains after 288% annual rise ahead of Whisk upgrade. Vote and Commerce GDP data integration. Stellar is no longer the quiet sibling in the payments family. Over the last 12 months, it's delivered a staggering 288% rally, one of the strongest structural runs in its history. Yet what matters now is not what Stellar has already done, but what's loading in the pipeline. Two catalysts converge in September. The Whisk upgrade vote, designed to expand throughput and interoperability across institutional corridors, and the Commerce GDP data integration, which opens Stellar's rails to more real-world macroeconomic flows. This isn't just speculative news flow. It's infrastructure being hardwired into commerce systems. For long-term holders, it means baseline demand for XLM could shift from speculative bursts to sustained transaction-driven flows. In other words, Stellar's 288% was the trailer. The real test is whether utility-driven flows can take the project beyond hype into structured dominance. Can Stellar XLM outperform XRP this September? On the surface, Stellar looks like it's already outpacing XRP. Triple-digit annual gains versus XRP's frustrating consolidation. Traders are asking the obvious. Is XLM about to dominate this cycle? But markets rarely move in straight lines. Stellar's rally has been steep, yes, but steep runs often front-load returns. XRP, meanwhile, sits coiled in a multi-year base around $2.84, a setup that historically precedes asymmetric upside once liquidity flows shift. September becomes the proving ground. If Stellar extends momentum off the Whisk vote and GDP integration, it may outshine XRP in the short term. But XRP's structure is different. It's less about immediate upside and more about explosive catch-up once regulatory clarity and institutional corridors open. So can Stellar outperform XRP this September? Possibly, but over a multi-month horizon, XRP's compressed coil versus Stellar's already stretched chart suggests the real power may still be with Ripple's token. Analyst warns XRP holders, your holding is about to explode. Here's why. For years, XRP holders have endured what looked like dead money, lawsuits, delistings, underperformance, while other alts printed new highs. But analysts now argue this frustration is the setup itself. The compressed multi-year base has created what's known as a coiled spring effect. Every catalyst that once suppressed XRP, SEC litigation, exchange restrictions, banking hesitation, is now flipping. Legal clarity is emerging, corridors are reopening, and liquidity rails are being upgraded behind the scenes. One senior market analyst called XRP's current positioning the most asymmetric trade in large-cap crypto. Why? Because upside catalysts are stacking, while downside is largely priced in. When suppressed capital finally rotates back, XRP doesn't grind higher. It rips. This isn't hype. It's structural inevitability. The longer the suppression, the sharper the release. And according to analysts, that release window is fast approaching. Analyst to XRP holders, XRP bull run chart. You need to remain patient. The hardest part of holding XRP isn't the volatility, it's the boredom. Charts that drift sideways for months, even years, test conviction harder than 50% drawdowns. But patience is exactly what the bull run chart demands. Analysts point to XRP's macro structure, a massive accumulation base that has yet to fully resolve. Every breakout attempt so far has been capped by regulatory fog or market rotations. Yet the chart continues to tighten, building higher lows while liquidity quietly deepens. What looks stagnant to casual traders is, in reality, pressure building beneath the surface. The bull run chart shows a series of compression zones, historically the precursor to vertical expansion once catalysts align. The message to holders is simple. Don't mistake delay for denial. The chart is clear. XRP's move requires patience, but when the coil finally unwinds, late entries will be scrambling for positions already secured by those who endured the wait. XRP price prediction for end of the year. If SEC approves XRP ETFs in October, The ETF conversation has already redefined Bitcoin and Ethereum flows, and now XRP sits on the cusp of that same institutional unlock. If the SEC greenlights an XRP ETF in October, the implications stretch far beyond a headline pump. ETFs do two things at once: legitimize the asset in the eyes of traditional investors, create automated, sustained demand through structured inflows that don't rely on retail hype. For XRP, this is seismic. After years of being sidelined by regulatory uncertainty, an ETF would flip the narrative from risky lawsuit token to approved settlement asset with regulated exposure. That shift alone could reprice XRP into a new zone. Analysts outline scenarios where ETF approval sends XRP toward $2 to $3 by year's end, with aggressive cases pointing higher if corridor expansion aligns. Without approval, XRP still climbs, but the slope is slower. With approval, however, the repricing window accelerates, and holders who positioned early stand to capture the move. Stellar XLM rockets 288% in yearly surge. $1 next? Stellar has already done what most altcoins dream of, a 288% annual run that turned quiet conviction into headline momentum. The question now, can it push to the psychological $1 milestone? Technically, XLM sits in a powerful momentum channel. Each consolidation has been followed by sharp upside bursts, showing strong buyer demand. Fundamentally, the upcoming Whisk upgrade vote and Commerce GDP integration create a credible flow of catalysts that could sustain further gains. But $1 isn't just a price, it's a psychological ceiling. Breaking it would signal to the broader market that Stellar is no longer a background player, but a front-running alt with real adoption metrics. Traders know this, which is why profit-taking risk rises as that level approaches. If XLM clears $1 with conviction, analysts say the next leg isn't incremental. It's exponential, with capital rotation chasing momentum. But until then, every push higher will be tested by those banking their 288% gains. Is Stellar XLM setting up for its next major breakout? After weeks of profit-taking, Stellar is circling back to its 32.30 cents support zone, a level that has historically triggered accumulation before major rallies. The rejection from $1.45 resistance shows sellers are still active, but the demand base is clear. Analysts point to the Protocol 23 upgrade on September 3rd as a key pivot. If the network stabilizes and adoption signals strengthen, this consolidation could form the springboard for Stellar's next explosive move. Short-term indicators like the EMA 9 at 37 cents and SMA 50 at 41.1 cents suggest a rebound is possible if buyers defend current levels. The stakes are simple: hold the support, and Stellar's breakout setup remains intact. Lose it, and the path toward $1 delays. Either way, traders are watching closely, because with fundamentals lining up, the next decisive move could redefine Stellar's trajectory. The next few weeks could be make or break for both Stellar and XRP. Stellar has momentum, upgrades, and adoption on its side, but XRP has the ETF wildcard and deep institutional demand waiting in the wings. Whether it's $1 XLM or $10 XRP, the stage is set for explosive moves. So now the question is, which side are you on? Will Stellar's fundamentals carry it to new heights, or will XRP's long-awaited breakout steal the crown? If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next update as these catalysts unfold. And let me know in the comments, are you holding XRP, XLM, or both?